Homemade spaghetti sauce. It doesn't get much better than that. When you make it yourself at home, it's fresh, the aroma is fantastic, and it's really easy to make. We've got some company coming over later today, so I'm going to put some together. So come along with me and I'll show you how I do it. It's a beautiful winter day. It's first day of winter. 10 degrees out when I started making this. I guess it's already warmed up to 11. Sun is shining. Why not make some spaghetti sauce? So I'm going to start out here and talking about why I don't just go and buy some spaghetti sauce. Well, just the other day we were walking by the spaghetti sauce. I knew I was going to be making some, and I looked at the label, I looked at the jar, and I picked it up and I read the label, and well, wow, I can't believe what they put in spaghetti sauce. This was a popular name brand spaghetti sauce, and along with your typical ingredients, it also had enzymes, and it had artificial this and this kind of powder, and it's just, no way am I going to eat that. I'm always going to make it from scratch. And so we're going to do the real basic thing here, and let me start off by saying, to me, when I make spaghetti sauce, it's nothing more than chili without the kidney beans and the peppers in there and the chili seasoning, and instead it's tomato sauce with some ground beef and Italian seasoning put in. And there you have it, spaghetti sauce. So I'm going to get an onion chopped up finely here. We'll get some of that prep work done. And the only reason I didn't do this in advance is, again, I like to show how easy it is to dice up an onion, and so many people don't know this. Slit it that way, just leave a little bit on the end to hold it together. Push your knuckles out so you don't cut your finger, and then use that to guide your knife. And when you cut it like that, you immediately have nice little bits of onion, all chopped up and ready to go. And in this case, I'm using half of a medium yellow onion. We like to eat red onions too, but sometimes red onions are just a little bit too pungent. We're going to have some kids eating this today, and I suspect they wouldn't be too crazy about the red onions. If it was just my wife and I, well, we might just throw some in there. No, those are diced up. I'm going to slide those off into a bowl here, so they're ready to use. And then one other thing I've got to prep, and I didn't do this in advance either, is because I'd like to show you again how I do it. I've got some garlic peeled here, and about 4 moderately sized cloves. And I don't believe that if you look, you'll find anything that says you can use too much garlic in anything. We love garlic, eat a lot of garlic. I'm only putting this much in again today because, again, with some of the kids that are going to be here this afternoon eating it, I'm going to lay off a little bit on the garlic. Mix that right in with the onions. And one more quick thing I'm going to do. I happen to have some fresh parsley on hand for something else I was making. So that it doesn't go to waste, I've got about a handful. I'm just going to mince that up a little bit so it's ready to go, along with the onions and the garlic. Now, I would also recommend, when you can, use fresh basil. I didn't happen to have any on hand, so I'm going to use dry basil. We are ready now to start making the sauce, so let's head on over to the fry pan. We're going to start by browning up about a pound of ground beef. We're at the burner turned on here, about 4 on this gas burner, medium flame, medium burner. And we will drop that pound of ground beef in, divide it up, and get it started browning. Once the heat comes up in the pan, and once it starts to fry a little bit, it'll start to release some of the fat in the meat, and I will throw in the garlic and the onion. So let's let that start browning and we will come back to that. The ground beef is starting to brown, releasing some of the moisture and fat in it. So now I'm going to add the onion and garlic. It's got something to cook in, soften up, rather than sit on a dry pan. That mixed in with the meat. Distribute it evenly. Now it'll put some of that flavor already into the meat while it's cooking. And we will continue this now until the meat is all browned and the onions and the garlic are softened up. The hamburger is browned nicely, and we have the onions and the garlic softened up. Let's add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to put in a quart of our own homegrown canned tomatoes. That was a half a quart left over from something I cooked yesterday, so I've got to add another pint jar here. I do up both sizes. Sometimes it's handy just to have a pint on hand. Get that stirred in a little bit. There's quite a bit of juice with those tomatoes. That'll have to cook down. Remember, you're trying to reduce this down to a sauce. Bring that to a boil in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is add the tablespoon each of basil and oregano with about a quarter teaspoon of salt and about a quarter teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper and just a dash of crushed red pepper. A little bit of that goes a long ways, but it really brings some flavor. I'll get those spices spread out in the rest of the sauce mix here. One last thing I'm going to add is that fresh parsley that I minced up. And for just a little extra body, I'm going to add an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Give it just a little more color. Again, I have our own tomato sauce that I've canned up, but that's in pint jars and I don't need a whole pint for this. So we're going to use a little 8-ounce can from the store. Get that stirred in. Smells great already. We leave that on simmer for about a half an hour and we will have spaghetti sauce. And there is the finished spaghetti sauce transferred to another pan to heat up later when the company arrives for dinner tonight. Let's just see how it tastes. Perfect. Heat that up later and we'll be all set. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make spaghetti sauce. It's real easy to do, it's a fast thing to make, and it's the best way to do it. It's delicious. So if you enjoyed this, please click like and consider subscribing to our channel. And we'll do more videos like this, and please feel free to leave comments. We appreciate those. Helps give us direction on where to go in the future with this channel. So until next time, enjoy your cooking, enjoy all your projects, and take care.